This film's version of the priest is now a woman, which takes the burden off the audience of trying to compare the performance, to Doug Bradley's iconic portrayal of this character, lovingly known by the fans as Pinhead. There's a sensuality to her, there's a grace, there's a beauty, and a hunger and a desire that you will see as she navigates this world and encounters these different characters who have come into contact with this mysterious puzzle box and are trying to solve it through a myriad of tasks and games that the priest presents to them. I watched the original the night before I taped my audition. And I was completely taken with how sexy and just beautiful and terrifying this world that Clive had created was. And that made me want to audition more. And then reading the script, it was so good. I mean, I remember thinking when I read the script, oh, wow, like this is good and this is going to look good. Like if they can really do what they've written, like, wow, this is going to be really, really, really good. And I wanted, the second that I met David in the callback, I knew that I wanted to work with him. And if it wasn't going to be on this, I was going to petition him to work on anything that he was going to do because it was so much fun. I mean, he was everything that I want in a director as an actor. I mean, he gave such, interesting, fun direction and ideas that I hadn't thought of what to do, and with volume and with stillness and just in the callback. And then, then once I got to Serbia and we started having Zooms and talking about, the intention behind different scenes and what the priest wanted and what her goals were, with different characters and different scenes, he was so generous, like with his direction and with his ideas and with everything that he had thought of that he wanted. And then everything that I had and my well of emotion, it all just kind of like meshed together and we gelled and, and we did what we did, and I just hope that people liked it. The makeup process was intense. I've never done prosthetics before, but I was in such good hands with the Russells and their entire team. Sierra Russell was like my key. She would do me every single day, and Josh was always there, gluing all the pins on individually to the face piece while the head was coming on. But the process, depending on the day, depending on how many other Cenobites were working that day or how many practical effects were happening. For example, Goran's loom. The makeup could take anywhere from 4.5 to 6 hours. If we could just focus and, and it was just me, we could do 4.5. But, if they had to step away, or if there was, if they were shorthanded that day, up to 6. It was an I had to be incredibly patient. I had to find a thing in myself that I didn't know existed. So I had to just learn to sort of, meditate and relax and just let this incredible team of people practice their craft on me, every day that I would film. And then once I was in it, once the neck piece went on, I was in it for the duration of that filming day because it was too jarring to go in and out of it. So I would go in it and stay. And I would stay in it for the duration of filming. And I would, a trick that I learned was to just isolate myself. So I wouldn't, be in the same sort of green room or holding as anybody else. I would try to find a corner and just sit and like face a wall, or just be with Sierra. She was the only person that I would sort of, like giggle with. If I ever did need, like a break or a sip of a Schweppes bitter lemon, she was always there. She was the only one that I would let come over to me when I wasn't filming, to touch me and talk to me because it was a lot. And then to take it all off, was another 30 minutes to an hour. Just again, depending on how many people I had, taking off the hands, the face, the whole thing, So it's like if I could have someone on each hand and the face, 30 minutes. But if it was just 1 or 2 people, it could take up to an hour. You know, but stripping that suit off at the end of the day was always a huge relief once the suit was off, because it's incredibly restricting, especially across, like it couldn't take a full, you couldn't expand into it. I couldn't take a full breath. So once the suit would come off, I was fine. And then it was just a lot of solvents and oils to remove everything.